Counting for the Usino-Bundi by-election begins tomorrow, Tuesday, 5th August. Election officials for the by-election were given a refresher training on the counting process and how to better monitor it, and counting officials. Assistant Election Manager for SCPIC Richard Kabine was a training facilitator. He emphasized on the new count model of decentralized counting at a centralized count center, which they will use to ensure counting is done effectively and efficiently. Trainees went through the LPV voting system and the technical details of the counting processes, such as exclusion, elimination, formal and informal ballot paper identification, exhausted ballot papers, calculating the absolute majority, allowed personnel within the counting venue, quality checks and procedures, appropriate forms utilized for counting, and quality checks and filling forms correctly. The training was for assistant returning officers to prepare them also for the LLG elections this September. The 9 participants were taken through counting scenarios to put into perspective situations which may arise as counting progresses. This included crisis management protocols and the chain of command and channel of communication needed to follow in the event an error is encountered. Usino-Bundi by-election returning officer Terence Baiyo emphasized on due diligence for the counting so that the Usino-Bundi people genuinely accept their newly appointed leader for the next several months until the next national general elections in 2027.
We don't want to find anything in the time to get it from the primary count. When you find some issues with the primary count, and when you come to last and wrong collective checker, that's for 17 before we go to the elimination process.
Mr. Kaiban reiterated the importance of counting and the documentation for an acceptable count and declaration in line with the organic law on national and LLG election. He said the new counting strategy is said to be cost-effective as it limits counting days. The by-election counting will begin with separate LLG counts, quality checks, and later merging of data for elimination and eventually a declaration.
It's very important that you get what we train here. That return is very, very important because that returns will accompany the rate. Without that return, all by rejecting one is very clear. So Commissioner was accepting it. Basically, the 66 A's, that's A1, A2, and then 66B.
A training session will be conducted with counting officials today in preparation for counting on Tuesday. Salome Vincent, TVWAN News.